Hey everybody, we're going to do a live participatory demo with everybody. So get out your phones and go to meetingpulse.net/launch. Again, that's meetingpulse.net/launch. So, have you ever sat through a conference call that just drags on forever, or a meeting where you just wish you could tell the presenter to speed up, or they have a question and you want to try to get them to give them a hint? Well, MeetingPulse helps make your meetings more engaged and connected by providing real-time audience engagement feedback.
So we just came up with this idea at the hackathon. We think that this has a lot of great applications in conference calls, one. Lectures and educational environments would be another one. Potentially feedback on a TV program or any kind of real live, like a political speech. We could be gathering the feedback and collecting the data. What we've done is we've built this only with HTML. And what happens is when you push the button, we uptick the vote of the button that you've pushed.
Hey,
and then after 10 seconds, it goes to decay.
Can you switch to the Elmo and show the interface for people who didn't pull it up? Show the Elmo, please. OK, so now they can see what's actually happening.
So you're about to see the participants interface. The idea was to make it incredibly simple, not to distract the participants, but they can say, I like this, I don't like this, or I disagree, I have a question, or speed it up. And then and the presenter, the screen you saw before, is a dashboard that I can glance out of the corner of my eye once in a while to kind of keep track of the meeting and say, oh, look, a lot of people have questions right now. Maybe we should slow down and ask them if they have questions.
You can put the iPad under
and
the
all of this is anonymous, which allows, which really solves the problem of sometimes people are too shy or embarrassed to raise attention to themselves. Not sure if the question is appropriate, but this way they can just anonymously click the button and see if the presenter responds.
Let's hear it for MeetingPulse.
Wait, hold on, we're not done yet.
Oh, one more thing? OK.
And can you switch back to the monitor? Sorry. OK, I'll do it like this.
OK.
OK, so when I'm finished with my meeting, I get this graph of basically by time of what happened in the meeting. And then I can track and correlate with my presentation to see what happened there. And review my presentation and practice and so on. These reports can also go to, let's say, my supervisor to see how well I'm engaging the audience with my training, demos, or sales, and so on.
Great. That's awesome. Well done. All right, let's take some questions.
Do you think this is going to be more impactful for feedback during the session and having to pay attention to not only the content I'm trying to deliver, but also that's kind of coming in real time? Or is it more after the fact and kind of review and what I can do better for next time?
I think it would depend a lot on the size of the session and the kind of the context. Obviously, you as a presenter, if it's really important, you don't want to be distracted. So in a training situation, it would be more useful. In a lecture situation where you want to encourage feedback and interaction a little bit more, and you want people that already maybe have their phones out, you'd rather have them engaged with what you're talking about. So in those situations, I think it's better. I think the conference call situation is ideal because there you can't see people, like you can't get the real visual feedback, and that situation is really common. Somebody is droning on and on. You can give them feedback. So I'll stop on that.
This is actually a question for you, Jason. Will you use this in next week's launchcast thingy?
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were showing this, I would have loved to have this during Naval's talk. So when he was answering a question, if the choices were like, this is fascinating, or I'm interested, or I'm less interested, move on, whatever, I would love to see people saying like, hey, next question, or this is fascinating. And it doesn't need to be behind me on the screen because that's distracting, but I love the idea of having it on the iPad right there and being able to say, you know what, I got to cut Naval off and move on, because that is a big skill as an interviewer, is knowing when to cut people off and move on. And this would help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're moderating the topic, and also you have such a large group. So that's.
I would like to have this for Google Glass for when I'm talking to some people, just one-on-one, and I could be telling them, like, I could double-click the Google Glass and tell them how boring they are, and then they would see it in their Google Glass.
Individually, we'll make you one.
The original glass hole.
Yeah, exactly. Another question? This is fantastic, by the way. I love this. Go ahead, guys. Any other questions?
You want to say what it's built in?
We used Firebase on the back end, and it's hosted on App Engine, and there is a. Oh,
great.
Yeah.
And
By the way, big props to Firebase. They made this process incredibly easy. This is exactly the kind of perfect application for them because it's this large multi-party asynchronous.
Yeah, let's hear it for Firebase
kind of
one more
thing.
time. They were a really great sponsor and partner.